Saints fans, how good was that? Saturday night, Marvel Stadium, beating the Cats by 7 points. Jakey, you must be feeling good.
Is that a high five? What is that?
That was like an awkward start of the podcast dab up, but we'll take it.
No, just go the dab there.
Yeah, there we go. Much smoother.
Yeah, that was unexpected.
Yeah.
In the best possible way. That was a ripper of a Saturday night, and I'm getting used to them a little bit too much against the Cats. It's 4 in a row now, and it feels like every year that party, that Saturday night party is against the Cats, and it was the same again, man. Like, I
mean, all 4 of those games have been huge. The crowd's been electric. I was telling my brother, I was like, I think like Saints fans really just agree unanimously that we don't like Geelong.
Yeah, because when there's a different energy, isn't it?
We turn up, like they almost just about get booed out of the gates. And then, the energy is just crazy, whether it's the umpiring, every time we kick a goal, there's just that 10% more. And 36,000 was an awesome shot. We said maybe we could get 40 up, 36, I'd definitely take that. Maybe a few too many Geelong fans, especially in the Saints members. But hey, the crowd was up and about, and what an awesome Saturday night.
Pretty much everything we want to see and everything we talked about in last week's show and in the lead up, we saw. Yeah. We saw the endeavour, we saw the chase. I don't know how long it took me to believe, we might actually win this game. I guess it was pretty early because we jumped, we literally jumped out of the blocks like Adelaide did to us.
Yeah.
So it felt like a bit of a weird feeling starting the game on such a aggressive front foot.
I think, I've been banging on about it the last 2 weeks. Those first quarters are so important. And I think we were up by 27 points at the end of that first quarter. And I genuinely believed at that point that we were going to win the game. I wasn't going to say 100% we will win, but I think, you give yourself that much room. Of course, Geelong are going to come eventually, and they did. But we had built that much room for ourselves to work with, where we had we were up by 7 goals at some point, I'm pretty sure.
I think, game high was 41.
Yeah.
I think so. And that was, midway through the second, I think. Jack Higgins snaps it after a nice passage, and it was 64-24 or something.
Yeah, but that's why you got to jump out early, because all the pressure was on Geelong. And yes, they came hard at the end. They're a good side. That's what they're going to do. But you start well, and the pressure was on them the whole time because, we felt it at the end there. But hey, you chase your tail all day, and that's what happens. You're not going to win many games.
No, and it's too little, too few that we've seen games start that way, but hopefully we don't want it to be a once-off. This needs to be the standard now and it's not just as a collective, but individuals like Windhager. My God, what a game he had. I know Bailey Smith was out, Tom Stewart went out pretty early in the game, but we're missing our own players. We were out of form.
Yeah.
And I think you said it in the drive-in, but you were like, this might be our best win since maybe 2020 or something like that. I think I agree. Yeah. And the main reason isn't just the performance itself. It's the fact that we were so shot. We looked so bad last week and we had to respond.
Yeah.
It's not like we were in a run of form and then we just delivered a great game. We were out of form. We were hitting the media. The fans were going at them. So we were obviously on the show.
Yeah.
And then they come out and do that. It's like polar opposite.
Yeah. And I think, there's games where maybe the gravitas of it has been better, 23 against the Cats to get into the finals. Obviously the result was bigger, but I just thought the way we played, it's the best I've seen for so long. I can't recall. I think maybe at some stage in 2020 when we were just scintillating, but we just played ferociously. The pressure, the intent. I know Chris Scott thinks, intent isn't a measurable thing, but it is. You can see it. The intent was there. There was one stage where the whole crowd was on their feet and we were just swarming them. Every time they got the ball, there was 3 blokes going to them, which it's almost like, oh, hold on, not everyone go. But the pressure was just that crazy, that maniac that, I just loved it. And the disposal efficiency was just magnificent. Our kicks were just coming off from everywhere. We were winning clearances. I think, honestly, that was where we won the game. Our midfield stood up.
Was so good.
Hunter Clark, Windhager, McRae, the list goes on. Zach Jones was outside of that ridiculous spoil. He was fantastic.
Chris Judd. And not because he's bald, but Chris Judd 2.0. That was a ridiculous game from Zachy Jones.
Yeah, sorry, I just kicked my microphone. Zach Jones just got me so excited. But the midfield was unbelievable.
Yeah.
How many
Marshall hitting his form again.
Yeah, and people were saying he was underdone last week. Probably he was, but when we did the predicted 23, everyone was saying, well, Marshall shouldn't play because he looks underdone. It's like, well, hold on.
He's had 29
The medical
disposals
team
and
know what they're
32.
going to do. They put him into the ruck, his primary position.
Yeah.
And look what happens. He himself, I think, had like 7 clearances. And as well, I looked the other night. I'm pretty sure it was very close to this. 18 players or something around that mark had at least 2 tackles. Everyone had at least 2 tackles or more. And then you had, McRae had 10. I think Steele had like 13 or something ridiculous.
Yeah.
Just could not be prouder of the effort. Could not be proud of the way we played.
I don't even know how to describe it, but it was just perfect at times, like absolutely perfect. Like every possession looked like we wanted to hurt Geelong. It wasn't like, I don't want it, you have it, like the week before. It was very much, I'm going to handle into space. And what I loved is that you said our efficiency was high, but there were some passages where it was a little bit ugly, but we kept the ball moving. So like Zachy Jones gets it, and then I think he almost dribbles it to Naz.
Yeah.
And then he hits up Wood or something, who gives it to Hill, and then Hill handballs it over the top. Wilson gets it. We kick a goal from it. Jack Sinclair's goal.
Yeah.
All from a
awesome.
scrubby kick from Jones, but we didn't panic.
And they showed on First Crack last night, David King's show, which, contentious, but I think he's one of the best analysts in the game. He showed the way we just picked Geelong apart.
Yeah.
We didn't force an entry inside 50. We chipped it around and waited for our perfect moment. Even though that Sinclair goal is a low percentage shot, we waited for our perfect moment so that we could get the ball inside 50 and possess it ourselves and not cough it up straight back to them. So, that was so pleasing to see.
Yeah, and Isaac Keeler gets a game under his belt, kicked his goal.
Yeah.
Collard, after a long stint in the twos last season.
What a shock selection. He wasn't even in the
Didn't
frame.
expect that
No
at
one
all.
was
It was kind of the
talking about
Ari
it.
selection the week before. Where's he come from?
Out of nowhere.
But he's kicked his 2 goals, looked completely natural, and
the energy was
and
awesome.
the pressure, like that was kind of what was lacking from him last season, but he brought that to his game, and it was kind of infectious across the whole team.
Yeah. I love the way, even though both his goals were in the goal square, the way he celebrated after it, I loved that.
Yeah, well,
I thought everyone around him just like, it lifts everyone up when you see how happy, and like the Keeler goals. And
everyone,
everyone was so happy to see that. And Keeler, I think there was a lot of hype about him. I thought the mark at the end of the game, obviously fantastic. That set shot came at a
beautiful
crucial moment.
Kick.
But he had 8 possessions at 25%, 4 clangers. He didn't set the world on fire, and he did cramp all through the second half. And we needed a target forward, and obviously in the first game, it's a very tough ask in that high pressure. So I thought he had an okay game, but I think as soon as King or Sharman is fit, he's probably going to come back out. And
I think he knows that too. But in the meantime, you get games. I mean, I think he probably plays against Richmond again. I think it's worth giving him one more go.
If Sharman or King don't come back, then we have no other option really.
I'm trying to think of who else we criticised last week that we can give them their flowers this week.
I mean, I got to say,
was number 1 on the
I
list.
think Mason Wood. Like McRae was fantastic. Mason Wood for me was best on ground. Just the way he presented up forward just changed the whole dimension of how we entered inside 50. I thought it was fantastic. Not only did he, make a contest every time, he would win it almost every single time, kick 2 goals himself, and toward the end of the game when the pressure was really high, every time the ball was in his hands, the game calmed down. We got some composure back, and that's what we need from all our senior players. When we got, everyone bangs on about it. We got a young team, of course we do, but if the senior players are down, then how is a young player meant to thrive in a team where the senior players aren't even playing well?
Yeah.
And Mason Wood, I just thought really carried the load. McRae obviously was fantastic too, but loved his game, and I think we got to talk about it. Mitch Owens is returning.
Yeah, I was about to bring him up, but he's such a unique player. He gives us something different. And what I love is that in a situation in the 50 where it looks like we're going to lose the ball, it's always a break-even situation. Yeah. Or he wins it.
Yeah.
Or he does some remarkable things like takes a mark and then pushes the bloke off and plays on, and then he's 10 metres in front of the guy. Yeah. He's running into an open goal, and then unfortunately his ball drop just needs some work, and he shanks it. There was no way he was passing that. Yeah. That was going for goal, but he makes the hard stuff look easy sometimes, like the physicality side of things. He's such a strong guy.
He is just so tough. He's got to be one of the toughest players in the AFL. The way he competes and contests with his size, obviously, he's a beast, and I'm sure he's been hitting the weights hard, but like he's not that tall. He's not your regular tall forward, but he plays with the confidence of one.
He's like the great example of sort of something that might go unnoticed to the naked eye is when we kicked it in long, and he goes for the mark. I think he's got his back to goal, and he cops a hit, but at the same time, he's taps the ball on very quickly to Higgins, who then snaps the goal.
Yeah.
It's like, so he's always just trying to get that ball, not just to take possession, but to put it in a spot where someone else can run onto it and take advantage of it, you know?
And he's prepared to get smashed if it means the ball just gets...
That's what I mean. He'll take the hit
fingertip,
and he'll just get the hand onto it to put it to Higo.
Yeah. Unbelievable from him.
Awesome game. And that's his first game back. So he's only going to get better. And to me, that was a very promising sign because there were games last year where I was a bit worried about what's his position? Where's he going to work? How does he make us look good?
Yeah. And
he really did make us look good on the weekend with some of those acts that he put down.
I mean, Windhager, we got to talk about him. That was,
career best game, I think. Absolutely.
Sure. And the way it's like, I don't want him... You brought it up in your review about, what is Windhager? We don't really know what he is right now. Like, is he going to be like that star midfielder, or is he just a tagger, or is it
scary that he could be both?
Yeah, exactly. We don't really know. But I love that he can start off, build his game from being a tagger. Steele sort of did that for us. But that's how you got to tag. You play off your opponent. Don't only focus on your opponent. That's not what he did. He shot Max Holmes down, and at the same time, kicked 2 goals, had 25 effective touches. Like, he was unbelievable.
Yeah, he's the one who set up Keeler's goal with a beautiful sort of hook kick.
Yeah.
And I think he also set up Higgins' third goal, where him and Max Hall were basically raffling it on the wing to just run it into the 50.
Yeah.
So sensational game, and he said it on the Footy Show when they spoke to him yesterday, that being in those situations where it's a 50-50, it's in our attacking half, but you're watching your man. If you can turn that into a attack on your end and hurt them, you do it.
Yeah.
So like, I guess for him, it's an internal judge on, okay, is that ball going to advantage me, or should I watch Max Holmes or whoever I'm on and then defend that? But in his case, he found the spot, he kicked the goal.
Yeah. And it's got to feel so... Like, when you're getting tagged, you almost think, okay, I don't so much have to worry about him because he's so focused on me. I'll just worry about myself. And clearly Max Holmes was only worried about himself because look at what Windhager did.
Yeah.
It seemed like Holmes is a great player, but, he didn't give Windhager any respect, and look what he did. So...
Yeah, and I mean, that I don't know if that translated across the board a little bit, but... We did take advantage of the Cats being a little bit off early, and that's what you've got to do. Like, we made them look bad, but at the same time, we've played teams where they're not playing good, but then we just get sunk down to their level and we don't take advantage of what they're doing wrong. So it was nice to see that any mistake Geelong made, we feasted on it, and we just went down the other end and hit them on the scoreboard.
And how about Liam O'Connell's mark?
Jeez.
With 2-3 minutes to go.
Just another big mark against the Cats,
It felt like that ball...
Rising like a colossus. Just...
It felt like that ball sat in the air for 10 minutes. We were just waiting for it to come down. We didn't know... I honestly thought they were going to take the mark in that position. Liam O'Connell, eyes on the footy. That is just pure desire. Desire for the footy, effort, want to win.
Guts.
So gutsy.
The photo as well in the paper of just him pretty much clunking the ball, but 2 Cats coming at him from all angles, and then he hits the ground and he's still holding it. Like it didn't come out at all.
Yeah,
such a Caminiti. Like might as well just cover that. But there was other selfless acts in the game. Smothers, you mentioned. Yeah. There was a passage. Jack Higgins he wasn't getting anywhere near the Geelong player who was going to kick it, but he chased.
Oh yeah, like I would love to see his GPS numbers. Because he was obviously he played like our deepest forward. He was sprinting from end to end.
Yeah,
and he was so obviously gassed, but that didn't affect that didn't alter him from doing it anyway.
No.
So yeah, good on him. The Nasiah toe poke.
The Nasiah toe poke, which was clever because he apparently if he had have rushed it fully from that situation, it might have been penalised. So people were thinking he kind of tapped it to get it into the goal square and then rush it.
Yeah.
Obviously, it was a very terrifying moment for all of us in the stands. But
I gotta say, I did turn to my brother straight away and I said, I don't think that's a goal. But that, there's no way that the goal umpire can confidently call that a goal. It was so close. It's at least got to be reviewed. I wasn't certain that he touched it, but I couldn't believe they hadn't reviewed that because it was that close. And then what do you know?
Yeah, when Naz stayed in the goal square to take the kick out, I was like, he's very confident. He got a boot onto that. Yeah. Caminiti's touch on the goal line. He took a nice mark in the goal square.
Let's talk about his.
We haven't even talked about him.
Yeah, he was fantastic, and it's something that's interesting because as fans, we all sort of saw it last year. Like it felt like. Naturally, he had some good defensive instincts and he wasn't really getting the job done up forward. So surprising that he started in the forward line round one. Maybe that was just, team balance. But, man, he was good. 13 marks. Just defensively, like some spoils were great. He won contests that I really didn't think he was going to win.
Yeah.
And, it was just a fantastic response from him.
I'm just happy for the guy. Like, he's one that's copped a lot of flack in the last week or two. And from me, from other St Kilda supporters, rightly so, because he has been down. But I think he's found that position.
Yeah.
He looks incredibly comfortable. His take on in the first 5 minutes, that told me, okay, this guy switched on for a physical battle today. He wants to take the game on, and maybe he just reads the game coming at him from the back half better than having to lead and trying to push off a bloke. He can just really man a guy. It kind of simplifies things for him.
Yeah.
We've seen, how many forwards have we seen that are better backmen?
Yeah.
It's most teams have one.
Yeah, it does. It happens now and then. And, I'm so impressed with him because, like you said, he really did cop it, and I think rightfully so. But the response is fantastic, and it just felt like we talked about last week. It felt like none of our players really wanted to play footy last week. No one was excited to play footy.
Yes.
This week, it couldn't have been more obvious how much fun they were having. Like, Keeler's goal is the epitome of that. Singing the song, having 5 blokes in the Gatorade shower, like... Yeah, that was fantastic. Having
Rui, Joey, Lenny, their kids running out. Like, there was a very St Kilda vibe, reminiscent of... And that was a Geelong game as well. I don't know if we won it, but when Fraser Gehrig was eating a pie in the stands.
Oh, yeah.
What year was that? 22?
That might have been 21, actually.
It was 21. So that
on a Friday night, and I think we did lose that one. And Max King missed, like...
Yeah, it would have been that night. But
one last thing on Caminiti, though. I think maybe not the long-term solution, but I do think in the short term, he's the Josh Battle replacement.
100%.
Yeah. I think that move's just got to be made. When Howard comes back, having Caminiti, Wilkie, and Howard as those three.
Doesn't sound bad,
really. I don't
it's
mind
weird
that at all.
how a week ago I would have said, Ari, come on, mate.
Yeah.
And now this week I'm like, all Australian? No. Nah, I'm not going to get carried away.
Yeah.
But all Australians. I mean, I think Jack McRae might be getting a jacket at the end of the year the way he's going.
I mean, there's a case to be made that he's probably been that he's been the best midfielder in the comp these first 2 weeks. I'm not saying he has been, but there's a case to be made there. He has had 2 fantastic games. I know we got absolutely demolished in Adelaide, but he was very serviceable. Like 10 clearances. People think clearances are a junk stat, and maybe some of them are, but that was, I said it earlier, but that really was the difference. Rowan Marshall grabbing the ball out of the ruck and getting it out of the middle. How often have you seen us just walk the ball out of the middle like that? It just with the ease that we did it.
It was weird. It was weird seeing some moments where I'm like, wow, we're breaking them open a little bit here.
Yeah.
I'm so used to it being the other way around.
Yeah. And, I mean, credit to Dangerfield in that last quarter. He looks like he was going to tear the game apart. Yeah. But those first 3 quarters, I think, he's a known saint killer, I guess you could say. And
yep.
We nullified him perfectly in those first 3 quarters. Like, I mean, there was a few horrific non-holding the ball decisions against him that we should have got, but we'll let that go.
We'll ignore that.
But I mean, his hit on Ronnie Burns was a bit of a dog act, but yeah, I loved the
Get to the point.
I loved the way we nullified him because he's someone that he's killed us in the past.
He's killed us before. Jezza, I mean, we handled him so well. And he got a dodgy goal from that was probably the most shocking decision of the game.
Yeah.
Like, Brad Hill and him, they're like holding each other. Play on. And they gave it to him, set shot, and he snapped it. Yeah. That was his only goal, I think, for the game.
I believe so. Well, see, this is what Callum Wilkie is so good that he's forcing Jeremy Cameron to leave his position.
And play at half-back.
That is how good Callum Wilkie is.
Yeah.
Like... How good is that we've got? I mean, again, he's an All-Australian, could potentially be again.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fantastic because then Jeremy Cameron, his influence is significantly nullified. Chris Scott was saying in his press conference that, sometimes if he's having minimal impact, we'll put him up forward. He's like, I saw Jeremy Cameron almost on the full back line at some stage.
He was on Higo at one point, I think. Like, what is going on?
And, of course, that's going to favour us. So
yeah. Considering they don't have Tom Hawkins there, you're like, well, if Jez is not there, I'm like, I think we can probably nullify the rest of the blokes down. Although Neil caused almost more problems than Jezza, just because of his height.
Yeah.
Took a few good grabs and kicked that long-range goal that got them within touching distance.
Off another BS free kick.
Yeah, but it was a big kick.
No, it wasn't. It was an impressive set shot.
Yeah, but what a game. Like, we needed that as Saints fans. And now it's ignited that fire again to believe in the season, to see where we can go.
Yeah.
You know, like it's I've said it on multiple videos after the game, but it's true. A week is a very long time and things can change. Players can pick up form, and no doubt Ross was not cuddly during the week.
Yeah.
You can tell.
I mean, we talked about this on the way, and I think the cuddly Ross thing is that's just a fake persona that he puts onto the media. I don't think he's addressing the players cuddly Ross. I know they probably come out and say that, but like
we've seen him at training blowing the whistle and yelling at blokes. Like he's not.
They brought Ross Lyon in to, for a harder edge, and I think that's exactly what he's brought. Like ignore because he says he watches White Lotus in a press conference, therefore he doesn't have a hard edge. Like
I haven't even watched that, to be honest.
It's just yeah. What else? There's so much to say.
I don't even know. Like, I'm trying to think of any individual moments that really stood out to me, but it was such a collective performance. And I know that's a cliche, but it was. It was a complete performance. That Jimmy Webster was excellent. Yeah. Stocker was great.
Oh yeah.
Although his injury,
that team, that was a team lifting tackle when
it was absolutely a team lifting tackle.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he's injured now.
Yeah.
So he'll miss this week, but.
I guess to
Garcia was all right.
Yeah,
nice cameo.
People will probably be thinking, how does Garcia get relegated to the sub?
It's because Zach Jones was Chris Jones. Yeah. That's why.
I mean, yeah, I don't love it that he's relegated to that position, because I think he's got so much promise, and we've been hyping him up. I think rightfully so, but he got his chance, and I thought he played really well in that second half.
Yeah.
You could pretty much go through the entire team and go, they played well, which is something that. We're not going to play like that every week. It doesn't mean we shouldn't be winning every week, but we're not going to say every week, Windhager career best game, Hunter Clark.
No, there were 3 or 4 there.
That's not going to happen. Oh, yeah, Caminiti career best game. That's not going to happen every week, which is fine. You don't need to have a career best game every week, but we need consistency in effort, in intensity, in the way we use the ball. We want to see what is the game plan. We want to see that every week and it be executed to the best of our abilities. So that's what I'm slightly worried about, is that was an incredible performance, and we're not going to be able to do that every week. So what do we do when things aren't going perfectly well for us? And I think that's maybe what we saw in the last quarter, where it's like, okay, we weren't at our best, Geelong, we're coming home hard, but we still managed to hold on. So that gives me some promise.
Yeah, it's a great sign.
Yeah.
Like I saw it as, this is a season defining. If we bottle this up and we lose, like, and we choke and they win, it's irrespective of how good we were the first 3 quarters, people will be freaking out. And to be fair, we all would be. Yeah. Well, you throw away a 41-point lead against anyone, and just ask Carlton fans about that. But we didn't. There was resilience, there was toughness, there was the want to win, and then you see the celebrations. It meant so much. Yeah. And then you play Angels, you go home, and you watch the replay. So it was just an awesome effort. And yeah, obviously we will get into it now. The Mosh Man of the match.
Yep.
Who did you vote for?
Mason Wood.
You voted for Mason Wood. Yeah. So mine was Jack McRae, obviously. Yeah. Mason Wood and Windy and Zach Jones were kind of next in line.
Yeah, I can't be mad at any of those.
But that's 2 from 2 now for our man Jack McRae. I'll be honest, I didn't expect him to be this good this early.
Yeah. Like, I mean, this good for sure. He's been ridiculous.
Like, he was good last week, but seeing him live and seeing the ease at which he just hits these targets, 15, 20 meters, left foot, right foot, the quick hands.
In and under.
And he's laying tackles on top of clearances, on top of getting the ball, on top of setting up his teammates. He's doing everything right. Yeah. Everything.
The narrative of Jack McRae gets junk touches is just so far from the truth. I think I've said it every week on the podcast, but it's just true, and people talk about it every week. You're just saying they're junk touches because you don't notice them, because they're contested, they're in and under. That's what he's doing for us. And yeah, maybe we didn't expect him to be this good, but we, at that Carlton, matched them together. One of the first things we said was, oh my God,
he's
Jack
a level
McRae
above.
looks so good.
Yeah.
So, yeah, deservedly so, another Mosh Man of the match.
Yeah. He'll get the 3 Brownlow votes in this game 100%.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And I do you know what? He might even sneak one last week. Is that crazy to think? Could he get one? Or were they that good? Nah.
We just got absolutely demolished.
True.
But if you're dealing with hair loss, Mosh is here to help with clinically proven treatments starting at just $24 a month. You can regrow your hair 100% online. No clinics needed. Plus, you'll get discreet delivery and unlimited support. Use code SaintsTV50 for $50 off. your first treatment plan. Join over 60,000 Aussies already seeing results. Visit getmosh.com.au to get started.
Yes.
Time for Jake's junk mail.
Yes, let's do it.
Jake is junk mail. Jake is junk mail. Jake is junk mail. Jake is junk mail.
And straight into it, nice and efficient. This is from a favourite of ours from a few years back. I haven't heard from him in a while, but Tim in Norway. Do you remember Tim in Norway?
I don't think
he used to send some videos, like poetry and everything like that. He's a fan favourite.
Yeah.
But he has got one for us. He says he doesn't have a question, but wanted to share his thoughts on our midfield. He said, yesterday demonstrated what I've been saying for a couple of years now. If we add an elite mid, then we'll have a top 5 midfield in the league. And that's exactly what we've done with McRae. Him, Steele, Rowe and Windy is what I'd like to see each week. I love how Steele can be a very important role player and member of the midfield unit instead of being the star man.
Yeah.
I only hope when Kingy comes back, we can slot him in somewhere like centre-half forward instead of having all our hopes riding on him as full forward. We work best when we share responsibility instead of playing hero ball. Feeling optimistic, calm the boys. Tim in Norway. I love that line of we're best when we share responsibility instead of playing hero ball.
Yeah.
That is so true.
No, it's exactly right. And I feel like we've had sort of no other option these last few years. Like, who else?
We're always looking for that hero.
Who else was going to stand up outside of Jack Steele in the midfield? Who else was going to stand forward. Up outside of King forward? So it's like it's a great junk mail because he's totally right. And we've still got Philippou to come back. That midfield mix is looking really, and it's what I just said. Can our midfield consistently perform like that? I'm not sure that good, but if we can get close to that week to week, we'll be great. And it relies on players like Windhager, like Hunter Clark, Philippou when he comes back, Garcia. They need to lift to the levels of McRae and Steele because as much as people want to blame them, McRae and Steele are not the problem. It's that third mid that needs to complement the two.
Yeah, good point. This one is from another Tim, Tim Dole. Serious question for the pod this week. Sorry if I'm in the wrong section, but harder to keep track from Bali. Okay, he's in Bali. Good on ya. What do Ross and the team need to say week to week to the boys to maintain the intensity from Saturday night for more than half of the season, thus having us fight for the top 8? Great question. What do they need to do? I mean, I think it's just that continually just reaffirming Saturday night and it's the standards on the training track and it's that professionalism that Ross was brought in, like you said, the hard edge, that professionalism, the ruthlessness. It's almost like, when you're studying for an exam, you got to just go over the same pages, the same facts 100 million times before they finally become muscle memory and you remember them forever. That's the same with football.
Yeah. I mean, this is why we're not the coaches because we don't know we don't know how to get them up and about every week. But
imagine that. Yeah, I'd love to have one week where they just let us go in the rooms and just give them a pep talk like Dave Hughes back in the day.
But instead we would be not funny
not
and shit.
Into them. Yeah. Doing a live pod in front of them.
Oh god.
Shit, that'd be nerve-wracking.
That'd be confronting.
Just a little bit. Yeah. So what would you?
Yeah. Oh. Sorry,
what's
back
your
to the
answer
question.
to that? Yeah.
Oh man, it's a tough one, but I mean I agree with you reaffirming of like that's why you need to have players at St Kilda who want to play for St Kilda.
Yeah, and
which there's a lot of jokes, maybe fairly so, about the club of we need to throw all this money at people because no one wants to play for us. Come live in Moorabbin. Who wants to do that? Yada yada, whatever. But that's why you got to build culture internally. That's what culture's all about. If these players truly care about winning for St Kilda and playing for St Kilda, then the effort and intensity doesn't become much of a question. They're just going to do it. I mean, I can't stand them, but look at Hawthorn. They all want to play for Hawthorn. They all want to win games for Hawthorn.
Yeah, they're on the same level, aren't they? Mentally, when you see the way they play.
Yeah, we need that week in, week out. And so when the weeks we get it, it's great, but you got to do it every week if you want to win a premiership eventually.
Yeah, and speaking of...
Yeah, I just noticed this.
Just once before I die, you know what? If we play more like the weekend, I might have to get a new jumper there. But this one is from Marlon. Considering our tough start to the season, how many wins is ideal by the bye round?
Oh, I mean, I need to look at the fixture. And do you know what week the bye is?
Nah, I can check.
Well, I'll say for the season, I know people are talking about that a lot, obviously. I honestly think if Geelong are at least the top 8 side to me.
Yeah.
And, we beat them. We for a half, we were convincingly better than them. I truly think our best football could potentially win us like 13, 14 games.
So round 13 is the bye for us.
Yeah.
So up until round 12. So from now until the bye, let's see who we've got. We've got Richmond. We should tick that off. Port Adelaide away. Giants away. Technically, it's our home. Gather round. Bulldogs. Brisbane in Melbourne. Fremantle in Melbourne. Carlton in Melbourne.
Tough fixture.
West Coast away. And then the Suns in Melbourne. And Melbourne in Alice Springs.
It's a tough fixture.
But in a weird way, they're all like, even look at in the way Brisbane played the Eagles yesterday. It's like, no one was expecting the Eagles to be 5-0 up within 20 minutes. Every game is winnable.
Yeah. And that's the mentality. Obviously, the players are going to go in every game with that mentality. But I think as fans, like, I wouldn't have put money on us to win, but I genuinely thought, okay, we play our best, we can win, because I think that's the same with every game. So, and
we clearly play Marvel Stadium better than most teams.
Yeah,
at the moment.
We should talk about that. Marvel has become a bit of a fortress.
A little bit. It's getting there. Like 9 of our last 11 or something like that. So, and then we've got another one this week. Could be 10 of 12. That's becoming quite the record.
We've still got ways to go in
in
terms of solidifying that, but we're on the right track.
Yeah. This one's from Tawunda. I'd love to hear your most memorable Hunter Clark moment to celebrate his 100th on the weekend. Most memorable moment? When he sold candy against Hawthorn and kicked the goal, that was pretty juicy.
Oh, yeah.
And then when he broke a tackle and hit a target up against Melbourne a couple of years back, or even his game, lockdown, Gold Coast Suns, late in the game, they were pushing to win. And
2020?
In lockdown.
Yeah.
And he had a sublime last quarter that pretty much won us that game.
I was going to say, I can't remember the moment, but I just remember him against Gold Coast effectively winning us the game.
Yeah.
But he went under the radar because I thought he was fantastic, especially in that first half.
Yeah.
Like watching Hunter run out of a clearance with the ball in his hands and having like time and space to kick the ball, you just think, he's going to hit the target.
Yeah. No, hopefully more highlights to come for Hunter.
Yeah.
Harry's asking, with the likes of Clark and Stocker out this week, is it time to unleash Travalia? I mean,
is Clark?
I think he's a chance. I know Stocker definite. Clark, I'm not too sure yet.
Yeah, that's a maybe.
But Toby had a good game in the VFL, 25, 9 tackles and a goal.
Yeah.
And we're playing Richmond, no disrespect, but I think if you're going to debut someone, you probably do it before we play the Giants and Port.
Yeah.
And the Dogs.
Yeah.
This is like the week.
I mean, I don't know why he hasn't played already, to be honest. I wish there was a bit more transparency about what was going on there. So if there's a spot for him, then absolutely get him in.
Well,
he's pick 8 for
in a weird way, I really do think they genuinely just weren't going to play him until he played at least one game for the VFL, because this was round 1 for the VFL.
Yeah.
They hadn't played the previous weeks.
True. But what's the reason for that?
I think just
Wilson didn't get that treatment.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we don't know internally what they've said, or maybe even he wanted to.
Yeah, I said in the selection video what I just said about the transparency, and people were saying, well, it's just maybe he's got that lighter frame of body, but then it's like, what's the difference between playing him round 3, round 1?
Yeah,
I don't know. But yes, I hope he plays.
Yep. Lucky last. Isla's asking, love that we won, but could we do it in future without giving supporters a heart attack? That's Jake's junk mail. Yeah, I'd love that. Yeah. I'd love that. I think you might be asking for too much there, Isla, but yeah. I mean, it's Saints footy. Saints footy's it's all about stressing you out and pulling your hair out and freaking out and screaming, but at the end of the day, if you get the win, it's all worth it, right?
Yeah,
if you make it to the final siren.
I mean, it definitely made the victory sweeter that we did it in that fashion. Like, if we had blown them out, it would have been great, but that sort of gave.
When was the last
extra.
time we hammered the Cats? Like, hammered them? Was it literally? Would have been 05 or something.
At least before 2016, because I know we had a drought then, and it hasn't been any time.
09 we didn't thump them. 10 we didn't thump them. It would have been 05, I reckon.
A long time ago.
Yeah. Sam Fisher kicking a long goal from 60 from half back. Yeah. At the Telstra Dome back in the day.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you everyone for sending those in. That's Jake's junk mail for round 2. So now this is a nice little segue into hopefully what isn't going to give us a heart attack.
Oh,
But we
God,
want to
I
be
hope
we
so.
want to go into this with confidence, but not disrespect.
I think what's giving me optimism is when we played Richmond at the end of last season, and I mean they were worse at the end of last season, arguably, than they are now because they had players that were completely checked out, and that's a whole other thing. But and we came out and we just did the job, So I would like to think we've got that same mentality coming into this game because it's a huge chance to go 2-1, despite whatever you think, whether we're going to have a great season or make finals or not.
Week by week, to go 2 out of 3.
Yeah.
And probably be in the 8 if we have a big enough win, like percentage-wise.
Yeah.
Going into, Port Adelaide away, which is not a good record, but you just build confidence.
Yeah. We'll just
And you're buying time, aren't you?
Yeah,
you're buying time until the Kings, the Philippos, the Henrys, the Butlers, the Sharmans, the Dougal Howards all come back.
Exactly.
So the more wins we have on the board before we even get to a full-strength team, I love that we haven't... It's in a weird way. I love that we haven't started the season full strength.
Yeah.
Because I always think a team that starts the season full strength, guns blazing, at some point, it's going to get shaky and you're going to get injuries. Like Adelaide.
Yeah.
They're going to do a Sydney, where Sydney started the season on fire. They're going to go through a patch. I like that every week, we might just be getting stronger.
Yeah.
Every week, we're going to be getting maybe a Toby in, and then we're going to get a King in, a Butler, a Henry.
Yeah.
It's not all once. It's kind of stagnant, like kind of across the season.
Yeah. I heard Sam Mitchell talking about, obviously they're on a 3-game win streak. It's like, let's not worry about, round 4, 5, 6. Let's just win 1 game in a row. Every week, let's just win 1 in a row. We don't need a 5-game win. So it's like, let's just focus 1 win in a row every week. And I mean, look at what North Melbourne did to Melbourne yesterday.
Yeah, that was exciting.
Melbourne were coming in pretty big favourites for that game. North obviously are further ahead in their development than Richmond. However, you get complacent and that can happen to you. So
yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people that tip North in that game.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's not the best example, but
I get you. Yeah, 100%. But yeah, you'd think going into this, off the back of what we've just done, that it's a reminder to just play that same way. Treat them with the same respect that we played with against Geelong.
Yeah.
You can't pick and choose when to go.
Exactly.
You got to play at that level against the top teams, against the mid-tier teams, against the bottom teams, because most of the time, losing those games to the bottom teams is where you miss the 8.
Yeah.
It's not beating the top teams.
Yeah.
It's those annoying games that you lose
and
when you should win.
Yeah, exactly. So at 2-1, if we get there, how do you think the narrative would
Lid's
change?
coming off, baby. Lid's coming off. Sunnies are on next week. I didn't bring him in this week because I wanted to be modest. I had the jacket there and I didn't wear it. I'm like, all right, let's just tone it down, Jakey. It's 1-1.
To be fair, if you were wearing a jacket in this room,
I'll be melting. Sunnies as well, probably not a great look indoors, but 2-1. I think then it just depends on obviously the performance against Richmond. We don't want to have a shitty game. We've done it before.
Yeah.
We've beaten Geelong, we've beaten Sydney, but then you play North and you play Richmond in years gone by, and we win by 7 points after being behind the whole day. We're playing terrible football, and it's a slog. It's ugly. But if we play anywhere near the performance of the weekend against Richmond, and they play anywhere near what they delivered against Port, you'd think it would be a comfortable win. Yeah. You'd think, but crazier things have happened.
Yeah. Man, what else? I feel like there's still plenty to talk about.
I mean, who comes in? I mean, I don't think you really... If anything, Stocker and Clark potentially being out kind of forces Ross's hand a little bit.
I mean, Henry's coming in.
So, do you reckon they wouldn't give him one more week? Do you reckon definitely in? Henry and Toby?
Could, but I think Henry comes in. Toby should come in as well. But then like I said, I think if Sharman's fit, he takes Keeler's spot. That one's obviously TBD.
Sharman didn't play VFL, but I guess these players.
We need a bit more information with the injury report, etc. But I think maybe 2 or 3 changes. Obviously, you can see the predicted 23 on Saints TV YouTube.
Yep.
But yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if... I know Damo hates that King is still listed at 2 to 3 weeks. Did you see his thing today? What he sent?
What was it?
Damo?
No.
Someone sent me a screenshot of what Damo said. He does his... Was it sliding doors thing?
Oh, yeah. No, I did see this. Sorry, yeah.
And did you see what he said, though?
Oh, but it was like about... I did read it, but remind me.
I'll find it.
But, I know Corns was saying... And you know what? Like, I do kind of
Yeah.
get what they say. They said he was touch and go for round 1,
Yeah.
and now heading into round 5. Now the narrative is maybe he'll be right for round 5.
I knew this was
It's
going to
like-
happen, but anyway, this is what he said. He's like, if Max King, according to the Saints, late last month was touch and go to be recovered from a knee problem in time for round 1, then, interesting to note, according to the Saints this week, a week after round 1, that he's still 2 to 3 weeks away. They're not on their own, the Saints, in economy of truth on injuries, and then I can't see the other part. Just one of many, many problems at this joint.
I was with him until
he
that
said-
last line.
Until that last line.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes, Damo, you just got to not show you hate that obviously.
Yeah. Did we mention Collard?
We mentioned his goals and his pressure acts. Yeah, we did.
Sure.
Yeah, we
And
covered him.
I think we didn't. Who was it? Did we give enough love to Higgins kicking 4 goals?
Maybe. Maybe not.
I just wanted to say Jack Higgins.
Yeah, that was
an
awesome.
amazing game.
Yeah.
With him, it's always like the sporadic form that's hard to live with. Like one game he's doing that, the next game.
Do you notice when the
I've
team
seen a
plays
lot
a
of him.
certain way that he just comes to life?
Yeah.
You know, he's that sort of player that when we play that fast, exciting football, he finds space and just makes everything look better in that front half.
Yeah. Do you?
And it wasn't kicked on his head. He was always moving. He was always on the lead, or it was a
Yes,
crumb
Yeah.
or handball receive.
That was something I loved. Like when the contest would be equalized, we'd kick it in. Our forward wouldn't take the mark, but the ball would come to ground, and we wouldn't immediately lose the ball the way it feels like we usually do.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, Brad Hill, did he do enough to respond?
It's a start.
Yeah.
It's a start. It was a tough game, and sometimes when you're so dominant, not every you're gonna have a lot of players do really well, but he did some nice things. He set up a couple of nice passages, got some handball receives. I think he only had the 13 in the end, but it was definitely a big improvement energy wise and output wise compared to the week before.
Yeah.
Like
You know,
couldn't get much worse than that.
yeah. You know that he's like Hill's kind of on when you see him do one of those diving smothers.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
When-
he didn't stick it, but I saw him attempt one, and I thought, okay, the energy's back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, what else? Anything else to cover from this game?
I don't think so. I think we just want to see that the ultimate test now is to, like, the first test last week was to go from being really shit in round 1 to then being really competitive in round 2.
Yeah.
We didn't really think we'd get the win, or that's not the end goal, but it's more the mindset and the output of the players. But we got the win. So now the major test is to go from playing Geelong and treating it like a mini final, because that's what we did.
Yeah.
We know that.
Yeah.
That's what Ross sets them up to be.
Definitely.
We got to do that again. And it's the final Maddie's match, which we should mention.
Oh, of course.
The final one ever. So get down if you can, Saying it's 4:15 p.m. Saturday. Hopefully we get a good crowd. I don't know how many Richmond people will turn up, but it'll be fairly dominant and kill the crowd
You'd hope.
again.
Yeah.
And let's continue this Marvel form. If we get the dub, then who knows what sort of momentum can. We've talked about it before. Once you build momentum and you have energy and you have form and confidence, you can go into every game and just. It's a free hit the next 2 weeks after that, to me.
Absolutely. Yeah. We're so much better when we play with confidence.
Yeah.
And I got to say, I was so happy with the club. When the boys ran out, that was awesome. The lights went out. And I know they've done a bit of that before.
The song was loud too.
The song was that they had The Saints Are Coming.
Yeah.
Were you in your seat by this time?
Yeah.
I thought that was the most hyped I've ever been when the boys ran out
Even
at
the
Marvel.
pre-game music was a little better.
Yeah.
It was a bit heavier. I think there was ACD. I can't remember what band it was, but they played some heavier stuff. I was like, this is football.
And
We're
then
here to win.
And just before the ball was bounced, I can't remember the song, but they were playing a song that was actually exciting. And I know the club is working hard on improving match day experience, specifically, things to do with the boys running out. And, the days of the marching band are over. So
I almost forgot about that.
now
you reminded
no,
me.
that was great. And what do you know? It translated into a win. So
Yeah, well,
we were firing on all cylinders.
like what Ross said. We want to be a serious football club, and you can't be a serious football club with marching band pre-game.
when you're
But
running
anyway.
out to oh god, that is like the poster of the Alan Richardson era.
Yeah, he was the leader of the marching band. He
Oh, boy.
came out banging those drums.
Love you, Richo.
Anyway, I think on that note, we're probably done.
Yeah.
I think it's been a fairly loose one. Obviously, Sammy's not here. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoying it nonetheless. I'm enjoying sitting in here and having a good chat. And it's even better after a win, obviously. So
vibes are high.
Yeah. What's your... I guess, let's not do predictions.
Let's do a prediction unrelated to the result. Like...
All right.
Like my one, if we win at quarter time, we'll win the game. Or
I think we'll start. I think we'll start fast again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we'll come out with that same level.
Yeah.
I think we'll have a buffer at quarter time.
Yeah. I'll just say Travaglia to debut.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
As a sub or on field?
I hope
bench?
on field.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Yeah, maybe Garcia stays the sub then. It's going to be him or Toby if he plays.
True.
You know what?
Peaky poison, I guess. Yeah.
And Butler, he might be a chance, right?
Maybe. I don't think he's going to come straight in. I mean, Max Hall wasn't brilliant, but you don't drop him.
No, I think Hall, Collard, and Higo. I like that mix.
Yeah, you can't
Wilson, we didn't mention, but I thought 2 games, but he's just done the right stuff.
Yeah.
He's not standing out, but I think it's because there's other players kind of doing some nice things, and we don't need him to be that messiah.
And I thought he was one of our better players against Adelaide. He got a coach's vote as well. So
correct.
I think that's almost certainly from Ross. There's no way Maddie escaped Wilson.
You know what? Darcy Wilson was pretty good.
Yeah.
61-point win.
All right, we'll leave it at that, Sainers. Yeah.
Anyway. This will be up on Spotify, Apple as well, if you want to listen to it in the car. But nonetheless, there's plenty of content during the week. Ari will have his 23. I think Wednesday mornings we're kind of ready to have it after the injury news comes out every Tuesday night. So thanks for everyone for watching that. And obviously Woody's breakdown, new video as well. So plenty of stuff happening on the channel. So appreciate all your support, Sainers. And hopefully we're here next week talking about a win, mate.
Hope so.
Yeah.
Hope so.
Go Saints.
Go Saints. See you guys.